Previously, wildly empowered women, and I am joined by someone who definitely fits that description and someone who I've been so excited to have on this podcast because we have so many incredible conversations together all the time.
So this is the thing with the coaching style, that the business that I was building, it's inconsistent. And I'm used to pay. I'm used to being an employee and having paychecks come in every week. So that's a big nervous system reset to go. So yes, I could make a $9,000 sale, but right before that, I have no idea if I'm going to make a $9,000 sale. Every time I was starting to get a little bit somewhere, I would just pivot. So I was always started from the beginning. So I started this branding business as a way to kind of step away from one-on-one coaching. And I was like, if I start this business, I can scale it, and saw the numbers as we're numbers girls. I was like, I want to build a business that I can sell.
Welcome back to the rich bitch era. I have to get used to saying that because I'm not used to saying rich bitch. Was previously wildly empowered women, and I am joined by someone who definitely fits that description and someone who I've been so excited to have on this podcast because we have so many incredible conversations together all the time, in the sauna, in the ocean, going for walks. And we're always like, oh my God, I wish that we were recording this. So I want to introduce you to a very dear friend of mine who also happens to have the same name as me, Jessica Masion. I've actually never said that out loud. Is that the right pronunciation?
Say whatever you want, I don't care.
How do you say it?
I say Masion.
Masion.
Yeah.
It's so, I've never actually said it out loud, but in my mind, when I say your name, I'm always like, it sounds so French and
Masion.
elegant.
I know, and I'm Russian. It's just,
no, it's not even.
it's not
right.
really.
But this absolute Russian beauty and I met at basically an entrepreneurs conference in September last year. And it was the funniest story. It's actually the cutest.
Actually, go on.
Friendship story.
Tell the whole story.
This is the biggest introduction that you've ever had of your life. But it needs to be said. So Jess and I just kind of met through mutual friends at this VIP after party. And it was sort of like everyone had been on a yacht. I hadn't been on the yacht, but everyone else had been on the yacht. We were at this after party, and Jess and I got talking and just instantly really vibed your energy, You know, you mentioned that you were single, and I was like, well, I'm a really good wing woman. We started prancing, strutting around.
You were like, I'm a really good wingwoman. Come with me. We're going to suss out this whole place.
We did. We literally strutted around the whole place. I stopped briefly to get a margarita because I was like, I need a margarita in hand for this. Strutted around, ended up sitting in a little VIP couch corner thing with some of the speakers. And it was a great night. It was such a fun night, wasn't it? Right?
Yeah.
And then we got all this fun content together, and you were a coach anyway, so it's you were very used to content. I obviously we're both content creators, so we were like, let's get some cute content while we're
fabulous. It's the yachts in the background,
fabulous.
The pools, guys. This was the spot in the Gold Coast. I don't know, it's just
the spot.
The fact that we met there and we were like, we're going to be friends.
And then we were talking on Instagram, and then you ended up moving to Sydney how many months later?
Weeks.
Quite soon after that. So then not only did Jess move to Sydney, because, a lot of people live in Sydney and I don't see them very often, but she literally moved to the Northern Beaches where I live. So the fact that you moved here and then we could actually catch up every week, that has been a game changer. Geographically close friends, it's a different vibe.
Yeah.
It's a very different vibe because it's so easy to catch up. So then Jess and I just started hanging out so much, having these deep soul, we just go so deep in our conversations. It's literally 1 second in the door and we're going deep into this morning you were waiting for me. I was supposed to have my house open so Jess could just come in because I was doing drop off, and she was waiting in the back area of my house, and I think the first thing I said to you was I'm day 2 of my bleed. We just go straight fucking in there.
I'm day 2 of my bleed and I forgot to put period undies on.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, oh my God, I just did drop off and realized that I still have my period. I forgot. So anyway, that's the story of Jess and I. There's no small talk, but we also have a lot of fun together. And so Jess and I have just had so many amazing conversations. You have been in such a season of flux and change and coming out of your cocoon out into this incredible new season of your life. So all of the conversations are going to now happen on the podcast so that people can listen to them. Not all of them, but not the sacred ones, but, you know, a lot of them. And so today I want to just start with, it's been so beautiful witnessing you in this beautiful season of really getting so clear and real on what you want and what feels good for you and your like soul desire in terms of like your direction. And so, you know, we are sitting together with a little coffee. We're doing this very casually because this is what I really wanted. And you inspired me with the podcast to do this, to like really make it like super comfy convos where it's like people feel like they're on the couch with us talking about this, which you're the perfect person to do this with. So tell us what has been going down in the mind of you and like in your vision and in your heart the last kind of 6 to 12 months.
Oh my gosh. Well, firstly, thanks for the introduction. And I just want to reflect back. It's been so incredible for me to have you as well. Like, no, in this whole breakdown, like I think there's so much shame in the breakdown, right? Or we're already going deep. But there's like usually people don't want to share that, and there's so much vulnerability and people always pretend that everything's perfect all the time. And I got here and like basically like a month or two after moving here, I just decided I didn't want to do my business anymore. I couldn't do anything. I was speaking to you about potentially like going in one direction. And then I was like, I just can't make any moves. I need to just go inwards.
Yeah.
And that was so hard to do from someone that does things all the time. But so having that, you were like, yeah, girl, you focus on yourself. Like that was so important for me. Like that, to be like, yes, this is a power move. Not doing anything is a power move.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it was just like a cocoon. I don't even know, where do we begin? Like
well, begin with what you were doing and why what inspired the cocoon.
So I started on like coaching a few years ago, and I started as mindset coaching and very quickly grew to do manifesting, money coaching, and empowerment coaching, helping people start businesses, etc. And I loved it, and it was so fun. And I quickly got into the hype of more. It was like, okay, now more. I was never satisfied with anything. I was doing like in my first 3 months of business, or 2 months or something, I made 30K. I was already doing 10K months, and I was like, cool. I had 60K month goal for like 6 months down the track. I'm all for speaking big and bringing big goals into vision, that I got so hyper focused on that number that I got so disconnected from my why. Like I got so disconnected to serving people, and I was so hyper focused on the money. And I think we've spoken about this, and I think it'll come up again later, but money has always been there and it will always be there. So to hyper focus on that as the outcome is so disconnected. So so that business was kind of stagnant, and I was just like, okay, how do I do more? And this is the number one mistake that people do not change paths. Like I think I've heard this over and over again. That was my number one mistake, was continuing to pivot every time I was starting to get a little bit somewhere. I would just pivot. So I was always started from the beginning. So I started this branding business as a way to kind of step away from one-on-one coaching. And I was like, if I start this business, I can scale it, and saw the numbers as like, we're numbers girls. I was like, I want to build a business that I can sell. So I wanted to build a branding business where I could hire outsource people, connect with social media managers, connect with graphic designers, and just facilitate people's rebrands or helping people find personal brands or even cosmetic brands, etc. I was already so I had a marketing agency as a company, as a client, and I had a skin clinic woman as a client, so her business. So there was already so much variety. But what I quickly realized, and then at the event that we went to was actually the moment for me, which is just so perfectly magical. I got invited to that party as a VIP guest. I was invited to the yacht VIP. A lot was aligning for me. That was of the circles that I wanted to be. Like I had done it, if that makes sense. I was on the circles. I was at the tables. My friends are the people that are running the events. I'm like, this is everything that I wanted. And it was like I was going 100 miles an hour down a freeway, and I was about to take the wrong exit. And you know that feeling when you're about to take the wrong exit? You're like, well, that's not where I'm going. And then I just had to like, oh my God, I just got goosebumps all over my body. Like jut back on. Like it was like all of a sudden that whole picture crumbled, and I was like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be those people, and nothing against those people, but I don't align with their values at all.
Yeah.
I don't want to do what they do. I don't physically want to do what they do. It doesn't align with my values. So the way that I was going was them, and I was like, that's not what I want. And then all of a sudden everything just crumbled. And I tried to continue I had a coaching container of like the most incredible women. They're all so successful in their businesses, which is like beautiful. But my business wasn't aligned with me. So I was like helping other people rise while I was kind of sinking. And that hurt.
Yeah.
So it was like, the universe kicked me so that I could rest, I think. Yeah, finances became hard. I was still trying to maintain my mortgages and a business wasn't doing when I couldn't get a job. Universe was like not letting me get a part-time job. Applied for like hundreds of places. I was like, I'm too experienced for a job. And I was like, what is happening right now? I need some comfort. But I really think like that much needed to happen for me to literally rub out the whole board and start again.
That's so big because you and like let's talk about before we met, like you were traveling the world.
Yeah,
like you had the freedom lifestyle, right? So you were a couple years ago like earning the money, living the life of what most people have on their vision board when they start a business.
Yeah,
let's be real.
Yeah,
that's what you were living, right?
It was my life.
Yeah, and like all around South America and like all these amazing places and like just like really living that freedom lifestyle and actually, being able to work from anywhere, like money was flowing in. Yeah. Like talk to me about why that didn't like what started to feel misaligned with the dream? Like, because you actually had the dream.
That's such a great question. I think I was so focused on what I didn't have. And so even though I was living the lifestyle and I was earning. So this is the thing with the coaching style, that the business that I was building, it's inconsistent.
Yeah.
And I'm used to pay. I'm used to being an employee and having paychecks come in every week. So that's a big nervous system reset to go. So like, yes, I could make a $9,000 sale, but right before that, I have no idea if I'm going to make a $9,000 sale.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So it's you really have, like, I was living in most of the time, oh shit, my money's running out. Feeling. And so rather than like what the lifestyle looked like, I guess this is when I kind of I've shed a little bit where it's like life is not what it looks like. And I do kind of, I think I have like, I felt like there was that performance in order to look good to make more money, because you can't share what's real because people are looking up to you. It's this weird psychological thing that happens as a coach. And I'm sure a lot of people doing that. And I see a lot of coaches that don't share the real shit.
Let's go there. Okay. We have had the best fucking conversations about this because so Jess went offline for like off Instagram and you went to the
silent retreat.
Yes, the like silent retreat. A few, maybe I want to say like a month, maybe before I did. I can't remember.
I think we exactly swapped over. Like I went online and then I went offline.
Yes. So then I went offline for almost 2 months and we both had such profound experiences being with ourselves and like quieting the noise and actually just going like, what content do we want to share?
Yes.
What actually feels good? What is genuine? What lights us up? And like, I know when you went back online, you had a completely different vibe. And when I went back online, same. I was like, I actually want to share. Like, I can't shut up because I've got so much to share. Whereas before I went offline, I was like, it felt like it was out of obligation or a push feeling, like I've got to post kind of thing, rather than like, oh my God, I can't shut up. I've got so much to share. So what changed with all of like, now that we've got the context that you were really like, going through some deep like ego deaths and like deep transformation in a business sense, when you also went offline and came back online, how did it feel showing up in your content and how did you know who the fuck you were after all of this?
Oh, well, that's a big question. And I still think I'm figuring it out. Like, let's be real. I feel like this big vulnerability piece for me in being more vulnerable, but not in a way, and this is where it's different, right? Because I'm not being vulnerable in a way to get likes. I'm not being vulnerable in a way to make connections, which is
performance,
not performance vulnerability. Yeah. Right? So it's like, how do I be fully real and inspiring? And I think we've spoken about this, it's just being an embodiment of that. So it became less about showing people, like proving myself and just being it.
Yeah.
And I don't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just kind of like letting it unfold rather than trying to figure it out. I feel like, and I've taught this, I have full trainings on how to create your content and I just put it all aside. I was like, what if you stop using your mind to create it and just start seeing what comes out naturally?
Yeah. Yes. Oh my gosh. Isn't it wild that like I feel like you get to the point with content that you're so experienced and you know your shit so much that it's almost too much. Because then you know what will work and that you're doing it for the performance of the like how well a piece of content will do versus like what is actually on your heart and what do you just want to like share from a place of like, I think we've just coined a new term, performance vulnerability. It's like I often see like if someone's like on the screen crying, I'm like, I feel a bit sad that in the moment you thought you had to film yourself.
I agree.
Or you thought you had to reenact that moment instead of moving through it and then sharing it, right? Or instead of like, yeah, it's like this performance vulnerability of doing like sharing your truth in a way that you know will be real. I say this all the time, you know, will be really dividing so that it like actually causes an argument in the comments instead of like, and you've done this beautifully. Like you've actually shared things that can be a little bit dividing, but it's because it's your truth and you were scared to post it, but you posted it anyway because it was so on your heart and it was so your truth and you didn't give a fuck about whether it got likes or comments or engagement or whatever, right? Like that is such a, it's a scary place to be in for a content creator and a business owner because it's like, well, we rely on the performance of our content and our social media. Like that's literally the business model of like the coaching world, the network marketing world, affiliate marketing, like anyone that's running a business on social media. So for you to be in this chapter of like, I'm just going to show up and I'm going to learn who I am and I'm going to be in this chapter and I don't know when the end date is. I don't know what the timeline is. I don't know what the next step is. Like, yeah, like how does that feel to like that edge? That is such an edge to be in, to like actually be okay with sitting with that, not knowing the timeline. Talk to us about that.
And I can see like my face lights up every time I think of it. And I just felt it then and I can feel it like this used to be so far away from me. Like I feel like people have no idea. I've gone through so many transformations, but the fact that I'm comfortably sitting in, I know this step, I have zero idea what step 2 is. And that is actually exciting. Rather like I used to act as if like figure out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and do that and it doesn't work out anyway. Like so to the openness to go like I'm going to fully embody where I am right now, fully wholeheartedly be here, enjoy this moment because I know, and I think this is with life experience that has come, I realize and I understand how quickly life changes, how universe gives me people that I meet exactly when I'm supposed to meet them and they will give me the opportunity or the community that I need to meet for the next step. It's happened to me so many times. Like you are an example. It's happened to me with another close friend of mine. I just got drawn to an event and then was invited to an event from that, ended up having like a beautiful dinner out at Noosa and we just had wine and a fancy dinner with these people that they run this big company down in Sydney. And that's another kind of all these connections, right? So why would I be stressed now? Basically, it's like have all this lived experience of things just popping into my life.
Yeah.
So I actually get to relax from such an embodiment place of knowing that that's my life. That's going to continue to be my life.
Yeah.
I don't need to try and force anything because nothing that has really worked out in the best magical way for me is from what I forced. It's always just been like where I am. And I've said this when I was traveling and I guess it's still relevant in this world as well. It's do what you love. Go where you want to go and you will find your people there.
Yeah.
You will find the opportunities there. And so it's just like every moment, are you doing what you love? Are you doing what makes you happy in this moment? And so it's like, as long as you're doing that, then you're going to get to the next step.
Yeah. I love that. You make it sound very simple though for a lot of people, like, and this is the like loosening the grip of control, right? Because for a lot of people, that is so foreign for them.
Yeah, it's scary.
It's so foreign for them to be like, oh, I'm just going to like float and trust and like not have to control my next step or not have to know exactly what's going to happen when, or, you know, like the fact that this is another thing. Like I often say to people, do not leave your job until you are well and truly replacing your income, right? So I'm a big advocate. I'm a huge advocate for working part-time while or even working full-time while you're
so valuable. I think I'm going to try and keep a part-time job forever just for the security of the pay that we were speaking about. I love it. I feel so relaxed.
Yeah. So, but like what happened when you went back to the workforce after so many years of being a coach and not like, how was that? How did that feel?
Well, my job is iconic. Like, it's just after hundreds of jobs applications, like I tried going back into corporate. I applied for like, so I used to work at, David Jones. So I come from big corporate beauty world. So I applied to all those roles. My resume is elite.
As a buyer,
as an assistant buyer, yeah. Or category manager. I tried to go back into the field that I used to be in, and I just didn't even get any replies.
Yeah.
Which is weird because my resume is great. Like, it was bizarre. And then I ended up having to make I got a job interview at a gym. And they were like, we just think you'll be bored. You're just why are you applying? And I was like, bro, what do you mean why am I applying? I need money. And they were like, we just think you're too experienced. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And then so I was applying to every single thing that everything that popped into my mind. And so I was watching a movie and they were rock climbing. And I was like, oh, I used to rock climb. And then I just Googled rock climbing centers in Northern Beaches. And then, they were like, hi, we're hiring. And I was like, I'll send them. I made a fake resume. It was like,
that's so funny.
Fake. No, I no, because I just deleted everything from my resume except for McDonald's and a cafe job from 10 years ago.
Oh my God, that is so funny.
It was fun. I was like, deletes all of my hard work and experience because it's a rock climbing gym. When got a call, got the job, and I was also, I feel like saying, because I don't want to hide it because of shame, when I first moved, before that, I got a job at a bar, also through a fake resume.
It's so funny because most people lie about the experience they have to make them look better. You had to delete things from your resume to look dumber or less experienced.
It really shocked me. It showed me it really threw me about the world because I was like, oh my God, they don't care how much I've done.
Yeah.
They just want someone dumb to do the job, I guess. And so it was I have to, kind of lie to be who they wanted me to be in order to just such a trip.
Yeah.
But so I was doing that. I was working every single day, 6 days a week. It sucked. But I just wanted to, I needed to get back on track.
Yeah.
I was like, hustle, I'm going to do this for the summer, pay off my credit card because I've never been in credit card debt I've never been in debt my whole life. And then just I invested in my website, didn't make the money in my business that I needed to, and moved to Sydney.
Yeah.
So I was like, I just needed to get back to zero. And I did very quickly. Within a couple months, I paid off my credit card. So it worked out and it was exactly what I wanted. But the rock climbing gym, so the bar I hated, it sucked. I don't like hospitality and I got a lot of tips. It did the job. And then I quit and I'm just doing the part-time at the gym. It is so fun. Back to that. My first job being unserious.
Yeah.
What? I just get to, and I feel like it's really helped me be this myself again. This bubbly, silly, jokey. I feel like I'm so much lighter in my content and in my everyday.
Yeah.
Because I'm around, I'm the old one. Also, that's weird.
Yeah.
I'm used to being the youngest of my friends. I'm used to being the baby.
Yeah.
And now I am the oldest amongst teens and mid-20s.
Yeah.
And and it's just this whole new energy that I haven't been in before. But it doesn't make me old. I get to kind of be on their level and be silly and playful. And they even are you are the youngest. They think I'm old but they're nearly 30, which is just so funny.
So funny.
But I
you're such a young 30. Oh my God. That is so funny.
They're you don't really seem like other people your age are kind of give old vibes, but you don't give old vibes. And I'm like, thanks. My favorite is when they're it's not trying to be offensive, but you're pretty cool for someone your age. I'm like, the not offensive part was worse than you just saying that. Thanks.
That's so funny.
They are hilarious.
Wow. So how are we talking teenagers or 20 or
both? All of them.
20s?
There's a whole range. We go from little children that climb, teens, and then there's some mid-20-year-old guys that is just that little brother energy that they really piss you off. I miss that in my life. They're so annoying. We love them.
So funny. Wow. Okay. So
I know I would never have picked this for my life. But it's brought so much lightness and playfulness.
Yeah.
And I read this quote pretty soon after I got the job, or maybe it was in a movie, but it was so profound. And the girl was like, I went and got a job that I didn't have to take home with me so that I could spend every single minute finding my voice. Oh. And I was like, that's the season.
Yeah. More people need to hear this.
Yeah.
I hope that the entrepreneurs are listening to this
Right.
that need the consistency of income and also to be in their joy. And this is what you and I went to Gabby Bernstein recently. And one of the things that she really drove home, and she had this beautiful story that she shared about it, was be in your joy. How can you be more playful and in your joy? Because that energy is magnetic. Like
Exactly.
when you're, even this podcast, we're having so much fun. Yes, laughing and having a conversation. It's probably so magnetic because we're just in our joy having a chat, like that content, that energy, like when you're out and about, even like, finding a partner or
that's what I was
finding your voice, finding whatever it is that you want to manifest or magnetize to you. Like you're not going to do it if you're a sad motherfucker.
No. And like, oh my God, like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, I was a sad motherfucker hiding my feelings from myself, thinking that if I just push more, if I just get this goal, then I'll be happy.
Yeah.
But I wasn't in joy every day. And most of the time I was sitting on my own. Like I was working. This is the part with, it was fun when I was traveling. When I wasn't traveling, I was just sitting at home on my own, and I don't have children. I don't have a family.
Yeah.
It was so isolating.
Yeah.
I was like, all I had was my business. And then so all I'm thinking about is my business. There's no joy. Like my joy and lightness was when I would go to the beach or for a surf, but that's not really the amount. It's not the same as this playful magnetic energy,
Yeah.
And like, I think we said this, you just dropped that in about, you were like, because this manifesting husband kind of thing that has been on park for now. But you were like, so what are you going to do to manifest him? And I'm like, I just need to actually be in my joy.
Yeah.
I need to do what makes me happy. And then Gabby Bernstein saying that as well.
Yeah.
I was like, yes.
Yeah, 100%.
Just do what you
Because
love.
also think of it like, okay, I'm going to say something a bit controversial here, but this is what I have like truly seen happen because I wasn't on the dating apps because they weren't around.
Yeah.
They literally weren't around when I was single. Vic and I have been together for like 15 years or something. So, or this end of this year will be 15 years. Because there's been so much that's happened since the apps come out and, like it's hard for guys to approach a girl now unless they feel safe to and unless the woman feels safe to be approached, right? And so if you were a guy out there right now, would you feel more likely and would it feel more fun and relaxed and light to approach someone that looks like they're in their joy and looks like they're fun and happy and whatever, or looks like they're just like very closed off, sad, like, you'd probably not get an answer from them. If people want to, meet people in real life, I always talk about this. I'm like, is your energy open? Is it open to opportunities? Is it open to a husband? Is it open to conversation? Is it open to meeting new people? Whatever it is that you want to do, is your energy open to it? It's like a door. Is your like energetic door open or is it shut? Because same with men and energy. It's like, once you open that door, you start to like strike up conversations in the cafe or down at the beach or like putting petrol in the car or whatever it is because the door is open. And, I always think about this because I've got 2 sons and I'm like, God, I hope that they have the courage and the confidence to just talk to a woman when they're older and not. If they don't have the courage, they're obviously going to go on the apps. And there's nothing wrong with the apps. I've got plenty of like couples that I know of that are very happy that met on the app. In fact, Alex and Layla Hormozy met on an app, right? Yeah, so you can meet your soulmate on an app. But also, what would happen if men really did have the confidence to also not from a sleazy way of just like, actually going up to the woman and not really respecting her boundaries and stuff, but actually just this joyful playfulness between a man and a woman, like a joyful playfulness of like conversation and, which can happen when both genders are in the, whatever you identify as, like in your joy and in your pleasure to be open.
Yeah.
That energetic openness. It's like the key to manifesting and to allowing in anything that you're wanting in your life.
You're so right. And it goes both ways, right? I think it's like, the girls, you need to be open and playful with, like, if a guy walks up to you, and I know a lot of guys have been rejected or, like, shut down, so then they just stop asking. Yes. And that's a real thing. Like, I think that it's both sides just cooked it. And so both sides need to do better.
Yeah.
But so, like, if a guy approaches you, be open and nice and playful, even if you don't like him. Yeah. So that he can continue to do it. Like, you don't need to close off just because immediately you're not attracted to him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because also attraction grows. Like, guys at first impressions, I'm like, ugh. And then I'm like, okay, he's actually a really nice guy. Like, just an awkward first word conversation.
Yeah. Yeah. It's also just like, it's so much easier meeting people in real life because you can feel their energy straight away. And like, that's what you and I were attracted to each other. If we had have met on social media, that's an app for friends, right? Basically, our version of friendship is Instagram. Like, I get a lot of people through Instagram, but you and I met in real life. Yeah, felt each other's vibes straight away. One night we were like, okay, we're besties for life. Like, it's like if you meet a guy out, and I don't think that this is not where I thought the conversation would go, by the way, but let's vibe with this. It's not necessarily with alcohol involved. Like, I think that's what's changed as well, is like allowing the openness in other contexts where your future husband may be, which you and I spoke about the other day. The cafe that I go to is next to my gym.
Yeah.
My gym is bougie as fuck. It's expensive. It's like $80 a week to even go to the gym. There's like
next level.
6 next level saunas. It's all like, you know, it's a pretty.
It is giving Northern Beaches, Sydney.
It is very Northern Beaches, Sydney vibes, and everyone is beautiful, but there's no ego. Like, people are there to sweat and look ugly and like just have a really good workout. No one gives a shit about what they look like when they're there. So everyone goes for coffee afterwards, and like I usually do a 5:45 class. So then, like, you know, it's basically this cafe next door is absolutely pumping from like 6 until 8 with hot, sweaty people, right? And I've noticed, because I just love, you know, I'm the old fart. Like, I'd be like the ancient grandma at your bloody workplace, because I just turned 35. So I'm the old fart, but, you know, I've been with my husband for so long that I just love people watching. So I see these hot young things in like the matching, like, you know, they've got these like gorgeous bodies and these matching, you know, shorts and crop tops and whatever. And then I see the sweaty guys rock up and like, they're all meeting each other at a cafe after the gym. You know, that's the new like place to be, and not really drinking that much on the weekend, because health is such a big, you know, value of theirs, which I love so much. I'm like, oh my God, I hope my kids are like this when they grow up. And, you know, they're all at the gym on a Saturday morning.
Yeah.
They are literally at the gym on a Saturday morning as well. So this is why I know they're not out, you know, like they might still go out, but it's not a big, you know, they're still really focused on their thing. And I'm like, that's such a beautiful thing to see, that like happy hour in inverted commas, or like going to the club, is replaced with like 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. coffee.
Yeah.
And all these girls, I see like the same groups of girls catch up, and they're all like, you know, laughing and having fun and catching up. And then the guys, and then there's some intermingling. I'm like, this is such a healthy way to like form friendships, to meet new people, you know. And again, it's like the openness, but also going, okay, where like fish where there's like, go fishing where there's fish, right? Like, if you want a husband that has like is really into health, and health is a big value of yours, think about where you would meet him. Same with like like if you want an entrepreneurial husband, or if you want whatever it is, it's like, you know, where would your ideal person hang out? And that applies for anything. It applies for business and partnerships and stuff, as well as also, you know, romantic partnerships. Yeah. And you got anything to say on that?
No, not complete.
Yeah.
In the bow.
You're like, I've got some ideas of where I want to hang out now.
No, I know. We're like, are we scheduling it?
Yes, we are. We are. We're going to find Jess a husband at the cafe next to the gym.
No, we're not manifesting husbands.
We're not manifesting, but it could definitely happen.
It could happen anywhere.
Yeah, it definitely could. I've noticed the tree that is next to Jess has slowly started getting closer to you. You know how...
You think it is?
You know how plants
Move?
I saw this reel the other day about how plants actually do...
No, I think it did get closer.
Yeah. Feel free to move it if you want, because it's really like in your face.
That's cool.
Anyway, I did have some other topics that I wanted to cover, because we've just had so many amazing
I know, we need to cover them.
Yeah. So we've gone through sort of, you know, the chapter that you closed, and this redirection and this rebirth season that you're in, which is so empowering, and how you've been through the experience of earning a lot of money, and also now being in a season where you get to actually follow your purpose and your passion. So what has come up for you in terms of like, what do you now see? If money wasn't a goal, which is how you've been thinking lately, what do you feel your purpose is, and what do you really want to contribute to the world and really start to create?
Oh, I love this. This is so cool. Thanks for this. Because it really, the meditation retreats, I went to Vipassana, that really landed so much. And I've done them before. Yeah, I just didn't do it any kind of yoga or meditation while I was in this building phase. So I got so disconnected from that. And so doing it again, I remembered that is the path. It is through yoga and meditation and really mental health practices. Like, that's what I'm really passionate about. Like, if I was to be on my deathbed preaching anything, it would be improving the mental health of people. Like, specifically young people. There's still so much taboo about it, right? Like, I've experienced it myself. Like, there's been so many suicides just even in the last 6 months of people, young people. I know someone, like one of my sister's friends, people close, people high up. Like, it's so big. And for me, like, branding doesn't matter. If people are dying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm just like, that's just not what I care about. And I do have all these practices, and I have this skill, or not skill, I guess I learned how to be in inner peace, to be comfortable around everything falling apart. And I do think that comes from meditation or mindfulness and just really sitting with myself. But that means, like even this morning, like things always go wrong. And I think like they always go wrong. Even this morning, right? Like you're like, come over, and I'm like, bro, the door's locked. Okay. But I get off path for like maybe a millisecond, and I'm like, that's annoying. And I swear on my life, it lasts like a second.
Yep.
And then I'm like, okay, I guess I'll just sit here and journal and do my makeup.
Mm.
And that switch is the thing.
Yeah.
That moment is the thing. Like that's the lifesaver. Because so many people, that moment ruins their whole day. And those accumulate. It's like things are going wrong for me, and they sit in that in sadness about how everything goes wrong, and they focus on how everything's going wrong. And it sucks because it's real. But I think, and I've been around some people that say like they're scared to be with their thoughts. I don't want to go to, like, I've heard people say, I don't want to go to like the sauna, I don't want to go to the flotation tank, because then I just have to be with my thoughts, and that's too much. And this is a common thing. So if you can't even be with your own thoughts, no wonder life is too much. And so for me, if I can teach people how to be at peace with their thoughts, how to be at peace in the world, that's an ongoing gift. That's like, that would actually help the world. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. So what do you feel like that looks like in terms of how can you have that impact? Or like do you have any sort of vision, or it's
still forming. Yeah. My first kind of thing is partnering, as briefly told you before, I'm going to do this 20 talk challenge, 20 hours of silence. So partnering with a foundation or volunteering with a foundation that's supporting I don't know what to say, supporting a foundation that's already doing it, learning how they do it. So this guy's built this whole company. He's based in Perth, and it's massive now. And so everyone joins and we do the challenge, and everyone that does the challenge raises funds towards it. And all the money goes back into mental health trainings for universities. So they're free resources for young people that are struggling with mental health, which I can guarantee is like 90% of young people right now. So it's something. I have this big vision for building a foundation. I don't know how the fuck that's going to unfold, but you know what I mean? It's just so much bigger than me. So yes, I haven't actually opened the doors. I'll be opening my doors for clients again, one-on-one, and maybe some groups. But that is the P in what in the vision, right?
I guess now you can do it from a place of like what feels good, what feels really aligned, instead of having to pay the bills as well. Yeah,
that's the difference.
Yeah,
because I want to it's about helping people, right? And it's my dad have had this conversation actually, and like he says some really wise things, but he's still kind of based in the old society way. But he made a good point. It's like, I was earning my wealth from the people that are struggling. That's so true. Because I do believe that I get to be wealthy, though does it need to come at the cost of one individual? When in the bigger scheme, people that really need help, I kind of want them to invest their money in other things as well, right? I'm like, I don't want you to spend all of your money on this. Oh, this is 100% going to change your life. Although now that I've kind of learned the importance of financial stability and what that does to your mental health as well, like, because that also has a direct reflection. Yeah. If you're in financial scarcity, that's immediately going to impact your mental health. Yeah. You can't make healthy decisions from a place if you're like, can't pay your bills or can't eat food. Yeah. So yeah, I'm still forming what the offers look like, because I just don't want to do it how I was doing it before. And I'm not in a world right now where I can see coaches doing something that I want to do.
We had a really good conversation about this in the sauna, actually, you and I, about like creating, I can't even remember what I said, but you looked at me and you were like, that's the difference. And we were talking about creating money from it, like the formula of the more money you make is a direct reflection of the impact that you've had.
Yeah.
So making money from a place of like creating a really big impact and actually really helping people. Yes. Actually really serving and being heart-led and like service. Like,
yeah,
you know, I used to hate that a few times on calls and stuff, I've been introduced as a servant leader because I'm like, that makes me sound like I have no boundaries and that I'm just like a pushover or that I'm just a servant. But actually over the years, I've come to realize that, because I know I do have boundaries, I say yes to things that feel good, but also I will say yes and make it work if I know I can really serve. Like if I know I can really make a bigger impact and like, you know, if I can be on a call with 10 people, 20 people, 50 people, and a few people walk away and they get to be more empowered from whatever I've said that has landed with them. Even if I'm tired or been so busy, you see my life with the kids.
Yeah.
It's correct. When people say I'm busy, it's not my business. It's my fucking kid. Like, you know, I've got 3 kids. I love them dearly, but that's my priority, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to show up because I know how much of service I can be. And we've spoken about this with like, you know, money is a reflection of the impacts that you're making in someone else's life. And the bigger the impacts, the more money you'll make if you lead with the impact, if you lead with the service, instead of, I know exactly what you're saying. Like there's a lot in the coaching industry of like more, you know, and like it being based on the coach and what they earn rather than the impact they're making.
Like this, like firstly, because and I've reflected this to you so many times, and that's what I love so much about you is that you lead from service. And everything that I've studied outside of coaching in yoga philosophies, in like the ancient practices and the ancient teachers that exist, and they've made global practices, they lead from service. They don't care about the profit. They lead from service, and it doesn't cancel each other out. Yeah. Right. It's like money doesn't it's yes to be in unison, but when you lead with service, you get to be supported. And that's why I believe that you're so successful in your business. That's the thing that I believe that makes you stand out, because everything that you do leads from impact and helping people. And then that's how you get rewarded through the universe. Yeah.
Yeah. That's so true. I feel like I've never had the influence that you've had of the coaching work.
Yes. Oh my God, I wanted to speak about that.
Seen that. Oh! I am surrounded by people who want to genuinely change the world and genuinely have huge hearts, and to the point where the biggest problem I have is the people that I mentor want to help people so much, and I'm like, you actually need to implement some boundaries.
Yeah.
So you're giving too much of yourself away.
Yeah.
And you need to start to put yourself and your own needs first. So it can be, and you know, that has been me many times before. So it has been a big muscle I've had to grow. But it's kind of the opposite, where people give a little bit too much of themselves away.
Yeah.
Instead of, what's
I need to share, because I've wanted to call this out. And I think I just was like, I couldn't be bothered, like on it's like putting my energy towards it. But it's very important to speak about, because those people still earn a lot of money because people are still drawn to the money. And it comes from that scarcity place. And we love speaking about this, right?
Definitely going to talk about
that. So the coaches, some in particular, and I know them. Like when I'm not speaking like I know them on Instagram, like I know them. I know their life. I know the lies. I know that what they share online doesn't match the real life. And I'm not going to share specifics, or because I can feel sometimes I've noticed that when you speak about them, it gives them energy, but this feels important because people believe it, because it's a bit narcissistic behavior where they speak about how great they are. And because they speak about how great they are, you believe them, because they speak with so much conviction and they believe themselves that they're great. So you buy into their greatness, but that is narcissistic behavior from dating this guy that was a full narcissist. I'm like putting the pieces together bit by bit, because they talk about how amazing they are and they speak about all these things, but they don't actually embody them, and their life doesn't actually look, or their actions don't reflect. And the main thing for me, because, and you know this for being in the PR world, in the beauty industry, marketing is, you cannot market things that do not legally match what you're offering. It's like I've been trained to like, you cannot muck up one word that is misleading. And so seeing people, like when I've stepped away and I've blocked and unfollowed everyone, so I don't see it anymore. I don't know what they're doing now. But this was enough for me to block them and unfollow them. We're seeing like, I've made $1 million in sales. Firstly, that phrase in itself is misleading, because what many people don't know is that they're just counting how many sales they've made. So they'll make a $30,000 sale and only take a $1,000 deposit. So they've only made $1,000, but they will tell you, I've made a $30,000 sale this month. So unless you know that, you don't know that.
Yeah.
And so, and I also know like they would have so many people, they would do refunds and so many people canceling subscription, like so many, their memberships or whatever, like a lot of people.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I don't believe that they're in that integrity that they would deduct that from the sale number in their marketing.
Yeah.
So it's like, there are so many factors that, and then people buy in like, oh wow, they're so successful. They've made $1 million. I'm going to buy them so that I can have what they have. And then so they get richer because more people are buying from them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's like people are buying into the idea that they have a lot of money and you're actually like the clients are just making them rich by thinking that they're going to give them what they need. I don't know if this is coming out as I mean it. It's like less about actually helping and being of service and more about this is how I'm going to get wealthy. Yeah.
It's like the brand and the ego and the money rather than actually like the impact.
Totally.
With that. Yeah.
And I know, and exactly. And I think what broke my heart, like genuinely broke my fucking heart, was getting on the phone, getting on sales calls with people that had been in containers with those kind of people. And they're like, I spent all my money. I'm broke. I don't know what to do. I'm in the same position. And I'm like, oh my God. And I had these phone calls so many times that eventually, like, I think I did one video that I just ripped in.
Yeah.
And it got so much traction. I was like, thank you so much for sharing this, because like there were a lot of people that are in that position that have invested all their money and then didn't make any money back. And it hurts my heart.
Yeah, and this is one thing that I wanted to talk about as well, is like investing from a place of scarcity versus investing from a place where you genuinely know that it is the upgrade. It's the thing. It's like, and it comes back to self. It's actually not about the coach or the thing. It's about like, do you in your heart know that this is the next step for you?
Yeah.
Or are you doing it out of obligation or out of scarcity or out of like fear that you're not earning enough? So you need something to be the answer.
This is such a funny thing. I know we've spoken about this because it's so interesting, because sometimes, yes, you do need that push, right? Because sometimes if you're acting in scarcity, you do need that push to make the investment. But most of the time, right, like sit with the decision. Is this something that's going to actually, because sometimes, I don't know if it still happens, I haven't been on a coaching call in so long, but they do kind of push you into the sale. And then you do get into that scarcity mindset. It's part of the sales strategy. I don't partake in it, but they push you into that scarcity so that you do feel in scarcity and you feel like that's the thing that you need. And so I want you to talk about this, because I feel like you know so well about investing. We've spoken so much about investing from that place, and also, this is it.
It's 100%. And I have invested from scarcity before.
Yeah,
I've
same.
invested into coaches and into things out of scarcity before because I didn't trust myself. And and I was like, well, that person needs to be the answer for me. I need to like get my butt whipped into gear and this is going to be the answer. Versus I've also invested into things knowing that it's the upgrade.
Yes.
And feeling in my
different
body
vibes
that it was like so exciting to invest into it. And like, this is how I felt investing into Jana. Like I was like, she's the person for me. She's got 3 kids. Like, you know, I just knew it. And I knew that that was my next like level, you know?
Yeah.
And this is what, not that I do that many sales calls either anymore, but when I do, the only times I do is actually when someone says, can you please talk to this person? They're really similar to you. They've got a similar background. So, you know, I do them because they feel really good.
Yeah.
And I always say to them, I want you to make a really educated and empowered decision.
Yeah.
Right? Those 2 things are key. Educated, do you have all of the information? Right? Oftentimes, and this is also what I've invested in coaches, it actually hasn't been an educated decision. And I've signed up and I'm like, I don't even know what the fuck I get with this. Yeah. So there's no like PDF that they've sent me or something that's showing me what I actually get. I've just trusted their word.
Yeah.
So educated is like really key. Like, do they understand all of the ins and outs? And then empowered, like, do they back themselves? Are they like gonna, you know, like stand in their power, feel really empowered on the decision, work through what their fears are? Is it genuine fear, or is it like, is it a bit of self-doubt and you need like, because I had fear. Like I've run a multi-six-figure business and I had fear. I called my friend up and I was like, I don't think I can do this. And she really empowered me in the way that I was asking for it. Like I was actually asking for her to believe in me because I didn't yet. So that's like the empowered decision making.
That's like, that makes sense, because it's not that you're scared about the money. It's like you're scared about the next level, which is so that's when you're like, I need help to get to this next level versus like, I need someone to help me change my mind. You know what I mean? Yeah. Very different vibes. And because you're so right, because that's like, it's always scary. Like even I think I said to you before this, right before we jumped on, I was like, I'm scared, but we lean into the fear because it's a different thing.
Yes. Yeah, it's a different thing. And yeah, I think those two things, again, like educated and empowered, need to happen on sales calls. Like we want people to make really educated, empowered decisions on their future.
Yeah.
And listen to their body. Like sometimes, very rarely do I close on a call. Very, very rarely. Because I'm always like, well, now you have all of the information. The next step is like blah, blah, blah. There's always a next step. So I don't leave without a next appointment or a next step. But the point of a call is not to close them on the call. That's so masculine.
So masculine.
It's so masculine, and often it is very like it can be a bit manipulative, you know, like it can be a bit like help, like making them make a decision that's usually 5 figures of investment or more on the phone. Like even the richest person in the world probably wouldn't do that. The wealthiest person in the world still makes really educated decisions.
Smart financial decisions.
Exactly.
I think we've spoken about this because it's like real wealth is actually making smart financial decisions as well. So, and I think it's like, don't invest 100% of your revenue into something.
Yes. Unless you're very experienced in what you're investing in, you need to walk away.
But then like 80% if you're really sure.
Seriously, like, unless you know exactly it is what you want and you know it when you see it, you have to like be educated, sit with it, and also like feel into it in your body. Are you feeling fear because it's not the right step? Or are you feeling fear because it's out of your comfort zone and maybe it's something that you've never done before? Like, where is the fear coming from? Really sitting all of like that whole process, really sitting with it all.
Yeah.
Maybe we should make this part of our sales process of like having a video that guides people through this.
Sitting with it.
It's actually them making the decision then.
So true.
It's not based on what someone has said to them. It's not based on obligation. It's not based on fear. It's actually based on like sitting with themselves and what feels good and right for them and their situation.
That's I think it gets to be like what I've learned is that decisions get to be slower.
Yeah.
And I get to sit with it for a couple of days if I need to. And that's not a limiting belief.
Yeah.
It's not me doubting myself. It's me going, does this still feel good? And oftentimes, because I've been trying a lot of things over the last couple of months, oftentimes I'll say it out loud and then a day later I'm like, actually, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So it's like really allowing that space for it to sink in and land. Is this right for me? You don't need to, like, it's not always a limiting belief. I think this is like the dark side of the healing space. It's like, and what I've kind of removed myself from the personal development. And I think a lot of people are starting to wake up to this. Like, nothing's wrong with you. Like, if you're taking a while to make a decision, it doesn't necessarily mean that, oh, you're doubting yourself. Oh, you're having imposter syndrome. Like, you actually could just be going through your process and seeing if this is right for you. I think we need to start empowering people far more than we have been.
Everyone has a different decision-making process as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, everyone is going to be vastly different with how they make decisions on investments. And again, like sometimes it comes down to experience. I went to this open house yesterday. This was such a mind-blowing
real estate piece.
I love talking about investments. I'm talking about like millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Like millions of dollars. I went to this open house yesterday. It's a shit box. It's a knockdown job, right? But it's still going to be like a 2.4 million.
On like the best street,
best location. Like it's got a pool. It's a very, very good investment. Like we would make, $1 million off it if we did all this easy. But went to this open house, had a chat to the real estate agents, was walking around the house, and there was these 2 builders there. And I always love listening to what builders say. And I always love eavesdropping a little bit because they looked like the type of builders. They knew their stuff.
Yeah.
They were there.
They look different.
Yeah. They were there to do a knockdown job. So I always am really curious to see, what do they look for? If they're planning on knocking down the house, why do they really care what state the house is in? Like, we probably don't have the same investment as they do. We would probably live in the house while we do all the plans and stuff and then knock down in a year or so. So I still have to make sure the house is livable, right?
Okay.
So I'm walking around and kind of eavesdropping on them. They're checking out mostly stuff outside and things like, where are the easements, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
Then the real estate agent, I was having a little chat with her and she said, oh, there's actually an off-market house around the corner. Do you want to go check it out? And I was like, amazing. Thank you so much. So I was with Zara, my 1-year-old. She loves going to open houses. She goes, house? Like, she loves walking around different houses. I'm like, thank God you love this because you have no choice.
Yeah, sure.
I just have to cart you around everywhere. So we went to this other house. It was only 3 streets across, almost like parallel, but 3 streets across and closer to the ocean. So basically, if you knocked down and rebuilt, the second floor would have ocean views, right? Amazing block. Like, the house was such a knockdown job. Again, we would probably live in it for a little bit, but even like you had to open the back door to go into the toilet outside. So it's a pretty small little cottage. It's like a little cute cottage, right? Like super old. Anyway, the same two builders were there. They'd obviously gone from their house to this other house as well. So again, I was like kind of like trying not to look like I was eavesdropping, but we were the only two there because the open house hadn't happened yet, but the house was empty. No one was living there.
Yep.
So I kind of bumped into them. I was like, oh, you got the same idea as us. Like, you know, they laughed. Like, we had a little look around. And then the open house started and I FaceTimed my husband and I kind of showed him around. Meanwhile, these builders are like, you know, going around, seeing where the easement is, looking at the gas and electricity box, like checking all of those sorts of things, right? As I'm on the phone to him and I like hang up and start talking to the real estate agent, waiting there to talk to the real estate agent, they're at the door, like these two builders are at the door with the real estate agent and they're like, yep, 2.35 unconditional. We don't need a building and pest. Do you need it in writing? And the real estate agent was like, nah, I know you guys. Like they obviously do this a lot, right? He's like, I know you by name, blah, blah, blah. Deal was done. They spent 5 minutes at this property, max 5 minutes, right? And they did the deal on the spot. And I know that for a fact because the real estate agent told me that it had only just, like, this was the first time they were showing it, right? So they had literally come there and made the decision on the spot. They were like, let's sign it today. And then I said to the real estate agent, I was like, oh, wow, okay, so would you take any other offers? And, you know, it's actually for 2.4 for a knockdown, you know, which is what we would have had to offer yesterday, was just beyond our budget and beyond our means.
Yeah.
You know, we hadn't looked at the contract, all of the things. So, but I was curious. I was like, you know, would you take another offer? And he's like, look, we're going to get it done and dusted. These guys don't muck around. Like, we're going to get it done and dusted today. So you can put in an offer, but it would have to be today because they want to get moving.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, all good. But it was like such a healthy masculine of like, watching these guys, they know their stuff. They made a really educated, empowered decision because they are so experienced. They've probably done multiple knockdowns before, right? They know what they're looking for.
Yeah.
So they knew what they were looking for. They found it and they acted on it.
Yeah.
So there's nothing wrong with like making an instant decision if you know what
If you're
looking for,
educated.
and then when you see it, you're like,
That's it.
exactly what I'm looking for. Like, to be honest, that's how I felt with this business. Like,
Yeah.
when I saw it, I'd been in the industry for 5 years though. I'd seen everything else. I was like very experienced.
Yeah. True.
When I saw this business, I was like, it's a hands down yes for me. But people that don't come from that can't have that same experience. But it's like when you know exactly what you're after, which again, and this is like Gabby Bernstein said this so beautifully on stage the other day. She was like, what is your desired outcome? Like, what's your desired end result?
Yeah.
When you know that to a T, it's so easy to make quick decisions.
So true.
And they were so calm about it.
Yeah, because when you're...
This whole thing was so inspiring to me because they were so calm. They were so like in their healthy masculine. They just made the decision. They were like, this is right. They were obviously business partners. Like, and they were like, boom, they'll probably have this house like knocked down and rebuilt within a year. And they just didn't muck around when they knew that it was the right.
When you know that it's right,
Yeah.
it's right. And then you have to like learn not to second. Like, that's the time wasting when you're like, I think it's right, man. Like, when you know, just act on it and go, you're so right. Because that's how I am with real estate as well. I'm like, knowing what I know and what works and what doesn't work, I've already been like looking for what I want to buy. But it's so easy to know what my budget is, what the return could be.
Yeah.
But it's, you know what I mean? It's so simple now, I guess, you're right, from experience. With having no experience, it would be like a shock.
With experience, yeah. 100%. And our decision-making process is probably still different to these two builders because we are
different. You have a family.
And
yeah, do.
But also, like, I think we come from an intuitive, like, pull, you know, like,
there is still a bit of like, I don't like the door here.
Or like the energy. This is so woo-woo. But the other day we saw this house that was like amazing, like ocean views, 3 stories, whatever. It wasn't, there's no one living there, but there was no open house. So
yeah,
and I both just sort of skirted the perimeters and like this house and looked through the windows and stuff. And I got back in the car and I was like, Vic's pretty logical and masculine. I was like, you're going to think this is really woo-woo. But I said, did you feel like that was a haunted house? I was like, I just got like haunted house vibes.
Yeah.
Like, I know that on paper it probably looks like a good investment, but you know, one side of it was basically a cliff to a road, like a cliff to a road with no fence or anything as well. And I just like got this feeling and I was like, it's not it. Because the more you're around something and the more you experience like what is your yes and what is your no, like you do feel it in your body. And again, it's like it's both embodiment and it's also the education.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's like we've got experience with this now. And it's like the more you listen to your body, the more you listen to yourself, and the more it's almost like the 10,000 hour rule again.
Yeah.
You know, it's like just the like repetition and the practice and the like doing something over and over as well. It's like you and I also have had to make really big decisions and really big investments. So the more you do of that, the more you know what actually does feel good and what is right and what doesn't.
That's true through learning from
Yeah.
mistakes.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. It's kind of off topic, but it just feel like I need to share how quickly this conversation has changed for me. Like I was journaling this morning, reflecting, because I'm like literally on realestate.com last night looking for property. 4 weeks ago, I was going to sell a property because I was in scarcity and I didn't think I could maintain it. So it's like how quickly things change when you start moving in an embodied aligned action. And like, I made so many decisions and I've cut my living expenses down considerably, but it's changed my whole future. Like all of a sudden the possibilities, this completely 180'd.
Yeah. It's so wild, isn't it? Like you said before, like people can come into your life, opportunities can come into your life quickly when you're in the right places and when you know exactly what you want, but also you're in the right energy now. That's probably why it's you know, like you're listening to what feels good.
The thoughts started getting clearer. I remember like as soon as I made this decision, I moved out of my place, and it was like as soon as that decision was made to do that, everything started coming through clearer without just making decisions from scarcity. Every idea that's popped in feels so much more embodied, right? It's like, no, we actually don't need to do that. That was from scarcity. Oh, okay, cool. We can do this. Oh, that's more in line with my original vision. That's more in line with the long-term freedom decision, like the financial freedom. Yes, of course. And everything's just reiterated again because I am embodied. Everyone's so concerned. Everyone's like, oh my God, what are you doing? It's so uncertain. I'm like, I've never felt more in my body in such a long time.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy, but amazing.
So, okay, before we wrap up and I ask my final question, is there anything that I haven't asked or we haven't covered that you'd like to talk through?
This, you know what it was making, and we need to speak about this, making
rich bitch moves.
Rich bitch moves.
Well, that was going to be my question actually, is like what rich bitch move, like that. There we go. The final question to every episode now, I'm going to include, what is your rich bitch move that you're really proud of?
Well,
what's a proud rich bitch move? Because to explain that quickly, a rich bitch move is not buying a Louis Vuitton handbag. It could be that, but I'm talking rich bitch moves which are like long-term thinking. So like wealth creation and like actually thinking wisely about your money, not doing something out of like flashiness or ego or whatever. It could be something like that, but most of the time, I think, you know, when we talk on these topics, it's the things that like make the greatest impact long term.
Yes. So you actually were the one that was like, that's such a rich bitch move. And I was like, shit, true. And then I listened to that book, Secrets of a Millionaire Mind, because you honestly, thank you, because that book.
Love that book.
I was just like, I do all these things. And not from, I don't know if that sounds weird, but I actually do all those things.
Yes.
And I was like, oh my God, I do have that mindset already. Yeah. And so the decision that I made, which seems like the craziest move ever, was I decided to move out of, firstly, rent is just, you can't, I've always hated renting. It's what you can't really save abundantly and rent at the same time. You just can't.
It's also weird as a homeowner, like you've got multiple properties, to go from like,
I hate it,
living in your property to renting. It's a strange,
I seriously hate it. And I wish that I didn't hate it, but I just hate it. Like, it's not my house. I'm hustling for someone else's, anyway, not my space. So that seems like the only option, right? And I think this is where my way of thinking is very different, because a lot of people, that's the option. You're like, well, I need to live somewhere, so I need to pay rent. And I was like, well, actually, I don't.
Yeah.
Actually, did van life for a while. I know that you can just do that. And I actually bought this beautiful 4-wheel drive, and the seats lay flat for the purpose of camping. Like I bought it and I was choosing cars. Is this going to be suitable for camping? Is this comfortable to sleep in? Etc. Because I kind of love roughing it. Like there's a part of me that's like, I love being a princess and wearing high heels, but I also just as much love like camping on the beach and like, you know, waking up with the sunrise and like being a bit of a grom in the morning. It's my fave. And so I was like, I can just do that. And then I get to save $370 every single week, just like by just that one immediately, you know?
Yeah.
So I was like,
over $2,500 a month.
It's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
In 3 months, I've got $8,000.
Yeah. Wow.
You know?
Yeah. Especially, it's only you. Like, you don't
Exactly.
have kids or a partner yet. So it's like, it's the biggest expense you've just saved. And this is why I was saying to you, like, that's such a rich bitch move, because also, if you're not in your ideal place anyway, like, what are you really losing? Like,
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's just like, so I was like, it's money, but without doing anything different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not doing anything more to get that money. It's cutting down your lifestyle.
Yeah.
And of course, like, don't do that if it doesn't suit your lifestyle. But we've spoken about this. Like, I don't have children. I just have myself to think about.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable like that. So why would I not?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm actually like, the fact that I am comfortable with it is a big win.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people can't be.
Yeah.
So I am. And I actually kind of find it really fun, which is, I'm surprised. Like, that first week, I was like,
it's like the dream for most people.
I know.
Like, they actually would love to be doing that. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's, I actually am happiest like that.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
Because to me, logically, I'm like, that's crazy. But I just, every day, I am more at peace. Like, it's that, and it's really like living with simplicity. So anyway, so while it's like win-win-win right now, I'm like living in simplicity, living in freedom, and also just saving so much money, cutting down your living expenses. So it's like that's the rich bitch move.
Yeah.
It's like, how can I sacrifice something now in order to build my self-worth later? And I am not willing to right now sacrifice my time to get another job or something.
Yes.
Like, for me, that was like a hell no. So, okay, if I'm not willing to do that, what am I willing to do? Oh, I can just rough it for a while and just put all that money into savings while having the time to focus on my business. Because for me, that's the priority, right? It's like, I want that time and space to create my business and build that up again.
Yeah.
So absolutely no brainer. And it's like, I remember, like, we've spoken about that. It's like that. And it's in the book. It says it so well. Cutting down your expenses. And I remember when I first bought my place when I was like 19, I feel kind of luck. I think it's kind of luck, or maybe just how you're grown up, what you see, to be able to think like that so young. But I hustled. Like, I didn't have any help to buy my place. I worked 6 days a week at a cafe. I didn't buy lunch ever. I was eating like rice and beans and carrots every single day. And I saved up 30 grand. I saved up the 20% deposit in 2 years.
That's amazing.
Just from, you know, making those decisions that most people aren't. And I think this is going to be so triggering, but like, if you actually want your life to change in the future, you need to be dead set, like, serious with yourself today. What can you cut back on today? Yeah. Like, I know so many young girls still going out for margies every weekend. So it's up to $25 a drink. Yeah. Like, they're having many. And I get that it's fun, but for me, my long-term vision exceeds one good night out. And I don't even like drinking. But, like, you know what I mean? It just doesn't even, the value is not even there. If I'm like, cool, if I do this for a year, that sets myself up for the future. Yeah. Like, I've done my numbers. If I keep my properties, I'm retired at 49.
That's amazing.
Do you know what I mean?
And that's not even counting what you could do with the equity.
Exactly.
And, like, the more investments, the more properties, the more apartments you could buy, like, even right now. Like,
that's with nothing changing.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's from sacrificing a little bit of lifestyle and comfort.
Yeah.
But then I have, like, literal freedom. And that's what everyone wants. But it's like, are you willing to sacrifice right now what is going to get you there? Yeah. And that's the rich bitch move. Yeah. That's what every single wealthy person I know has done that at some point in order to get them there. Yeah. It's like the baked beans and rice stage. It's like, are you willing to build your business and put everything into that so that you can have it later? So that you can have it later. Because if you want to spend all your money on a new car, on fancy clothes, on looking a certain way, guess what? You're not actually going to build anything in the long term. And I think that's something that a lot of people don't want to hear. Yeah. Right. It's like, you can buy a BMW or you can keep your car, keep your part-time job and put all of that money into an investment and be 100% certain that you'll have freedom in the long term. Yeah. It's the ROI. Like, what's the return on the investment of a margarita versus, like, honestly, versus, like, I was the same when I was young. I was saving for a property when I met Vic, and I said to him, I'm either going to buy one in the country or we can go 50-50. And he was in debt. So I was like, you got some fucking work to do, boy. Like, you know, so yeah, it's the ROI. That's such a rich bitch move. Thank you for sharing that. That's such an inspiring way to explain it as well. And, like, you know, what is the long term? Like, are you willing to do the rice and beans stage? Are you willing to sacrifice a little bit to be in a place that, you know, you never could have been in otherwise in the future? So
Thank you so much for being on. If anyone wants to reach out to you or support causes that you're like really passionate about right now, or work with you, where should they go?
Yes, connect with me on Instagram, Jessica Masion. I love a chat, even if you just want to share your reflections or like what landed, like I'm here for that. And yes, in June, I'll be doing the 20 hours for 20 talk. I'll put the donations link in my bio. It's already there. So if anyone feels called to donate, it's $1,000 goal, which is nothing if everyone donates $10. So yeah, that's something. Anything to support young people with mental health is what I'm working towards. Even just sharing the word, ask a friend if they're okay, if they seem a bit sad. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much. We'll have that in the show notes as well, the link to that. And thank you so much for joining. It's been so beautiful to like just be on the couch, have a coffee, have like such a casual, amazing chat. I'm sure we'll do many more of these to come. And if you do have any questions for Jess, or if you have any ideas for topics that you would like support on, please reach out to the Rich Bitch Era Instagram and slide into my DMs and tell me so that I can cover them on another episode as well. So thank you so much for joining, and I will see you on the next episode.
Yay. Thanks, Jess.
Bye.